Welcome to the podcast, everyone. I am Mayra with Soul Science Hypnosis, and I have a very special guest with me. Hello, Karyn.
Hi. How
Thank you
are
so
you?
much. I am wonderful. Thank you so much for agreeing to this. You just had a session last week,
Yes.
and I needed to just grab you because everything's nice and fresh in
Yes.
your mind. And so I'm so happy that you're here to tell your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So, Karyn, let's start with why you decided to have a session and explore who you've been, where you've been.
Yes. Well, since I was a little girl, I wanted to do this. I don't know how or who talked to me about regressions or other past lives.
Mm.
But it was always with me. I was curious. And after reading a book in August 2023, and something happened to us. Well, my little son, he's 13, his name is Mateo. And I was in bed because I pulled my lower back and I couldn't walk for like 4 days before that event happened.
Mm.
And it was interesting because everything happened after that.
It sure did.
Yes, it did. I was in bed. My son is 13. He was playing soccer in the backyard and he came inside and he's like, Mom, I just saw this orange light flying near the house, like near the neighborhood. And my first reaction was like, oh, it was probably a plane
Hmm.
or it was probably a drone because we have a lot of them here. He's like, Mom, I know what drones look like. I know what planes look like. That was not a drone or an airplane.
He's 13, so yes,
He's
he knows.
very smart and his eyes are great.
Yeah.
And then he came inside. He's like, Mom, you have to come outside and see us. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just can't move. I can't go on. And my back hurts a lot. And then I try to convince him not to. And we chat on the bed. And then he's like, Mom, I'll help you. Let's go outside. Maybe we see it again.
Yeah.
And when we went outside, it was like not even a minute. It was like this thing was waiting for us to come out of the house. Is the only explanation I have
Yeah.
because we chat like for 20 minutes. He tried to convince me. And then when we get out to the porch, I look up and he looked up and I said, oh my God, what is that? And there were two of them. So
Too.
one was following the other one. And I didn't have my glasses on. And I'm like, what is that? And he started shaking. He's like, Mom, that's it, that's it, that's it. They got into a cloud, kind of turned. One came back and disappeared, and the other one went the other way. And could, I record them. I don't know how I did
Yes.
that. I record them. And then when you zoom, it's like an orange sphere with a dark circle in the middle.
Hmm.
Um, and then your first reaction is like, what is that? But no, that can't be.
Yes, yes.
I came inside and I told my husband, that's a satellite and all of this.
Sure.
I'm like,
It's
so I
called
was
denial.
denial. Yeah. Your mind trying to find uh, an excuse, right? Or some other possibility. And after that, I was like in my head, I couldn't stop thinking.
Yeah.
And 3 nights after this experience, I was sleeping and my back hurt a lot. And my husband was not in bed. He went upstairs because I was like sitting up, turning, again. And in one of that, I remember looking at the watch, was like 3:25.
In the morning?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
3:25
Hmm.
a.m. And I was kind of like going up and wanted to flip to the other side. And I see this orange orb, like the size of, I think, like a grapefruit or an orange.
Hmm.
And it was right by my window inside of the house. And the first
Okay.
thing I noticed was that there was no like a reflection of the light, but I was so, how do you call it? I was like, if I took something to fall asleep, I couldn't react. I couldn't get up. And I remember seeing it and turning and going back to sleep and thinking, what was that? And I just fell asleep onto the.
Yes. Yes. So when you and I had our initial consultation and you told me that story, in my mind, I knew that that was a visit, right?
Mhm.
And I wanted to take you back to that night because it appears, and this is not the first time I've heard this, that when they have these visits, and we're talking about these extraterrestrial visits, right? It's almost like a drug, you know? Yeah, you felt
Yeah,
drugged.
yes,
You
complete.
could, and that's what they do. It's like this energetic anesthesia that comes to you that you simply cannot stay awake for it, right? Because
Yes,
there's a purpose for their visit, obviously.
yes.
And that's what I wanted. And I didn't tell you that I was going to take you there. I don't think I did that on the consultation. I'm not sure.
I know. I was
Um,
like, what?
yeah, I want to take you back to that night, which was February. Wasn't it in February?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that was in August.
August. Okay.
August, like, yeah, 27, August 27.
August 20. Okay. And so you had given me the date on the notes, and I just
Yes.
said, I want to take her back through hypnosis where you are able to remember what that visit was, what was it all about. So hang on, people, because it's all coming. It's all going to be revealed of what that visit was. And Karyn has also agreed to share her session, so you can also hear her actual session of her experience that day. So,
Mhm, mhm. And the 20, February 27 was the light, the other one, the green
oh
light
yes,
light. That was
that's
another.
right.
Yes. So it just keeps
Yeah,
happening since.
yes. Now let's pause for a moment. And you had also mentioned that when you were a little girl,
Mm,
and you didn't have the greatest upbringing.
right.
You grew up in Costa Rica, right? And it was difficult for you. But you had shared that there were moments where little you would sort of run off, be out in nature, and you had mentioned how you would ask the aliens to take you home.
To take
How
me.
does a child, so tell us about that. Like, how did you even know that there were aliens?
No, I don't even know. It was just like I wanted someone to probably take me away, or I didn't want to be where I was. And I would go to this park right in the back of my house at dark night, and I would sit there, look at the star, and just start talking. Come, please take me. I don't want to be here. I don't like the family that I'm in. I just want to go home. I'm sad. Come, please take me. And
Yeah.
yeah, I did that for many, many years.
Wow. And how old were you when you think that started?
8,
Yeah, very young.
long
It's
until I was
incredible.
13. Yeah,
Imagine being 8 years old and just,
yeah.
being that sad about your life. And yet, it's like this,
I'm
I don't
lonely.
like this here. Take me
Yes.
out.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't like this world. Take me. I feel lonely. I want to be happy. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, very
incredible.
interesting. All
Very.
right. And so the evening, that night that you had that amnesia where you remembered the orb and they made you fall asleep. Okay. The next day, you mentioned that you did remember that. It did pop into your
That's the
awareness.
thing, because after I saw the orb and I turned and I went back to sleep. I didn't turn anymore. This I just woke up. It was 6:30 in the morning, and I'm like, what was that? The
Yeah.
first,
You remembered it.
yep,
Hmm.
complete.
Okay. And how did your health start improving after that?
Yeah, I haven't had any back pain since
Hmm.
August.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's get to it. Your session was last week. And although I will be sharing so you I will be sharing it, okay? And you went into just a, sort of a basic past life, right?
Yes.
Very earthbound,
Yeah,
earthbound. I have my notes here. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
yeah. I saw
Mhm.
myself in this bedroom. It was a small house, wooden house, very humble. And I saw my bed. I saw green curtains. Everything was wood. Even the bed was wood. My little chair was wood. Everything.
Yes,
Then you moved me to dinner time so we see my family.
right.
And that's when I saw my little brother, my little sister, my mom, and my dad.
Hmm. And you were able to connect some of those family members with people today in your life?
My dad was my son, my oldest son today, and my little brother was my other son.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's amazing when you are there, the energy is why you connect. I couldn't understand that before I did this. I'm like,
right.
how am I gonna? They're gonna look different, but how am I gonna
Yeah.
connect? And yeah, you do it.
It's the energy. Yeah.
Energy.
I have a client that just left, and when I asked her that question, some people the experience is different for different people. Some people just hear the answer, right? Where it's like, oh, it's my husband or it's my best friend. They'll hear the name, or some people will just feel it. It's just like a knowing. Um, but some are visual, where it's like you'll see your husband's face. It's like I am seeing my husband's face right now. And that was the case of the client that just left. So you just simply trust
Yes.
whichever way it's coming to you. It's always the first answer.
Wow. Yes.
Always. Okay. Yeah. And then you sort of went through this life and then you fell in love,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Then I had a baby.
you
Baby.
did.
Yeah. And I know the name,
Yes, the names.
Caesar.
Yeah. Caesar. Yeah,
Maya.
and we figure it was sort of they were sort of Latin Hispanic names. Your child
Mhm.
was Caesar, your husband was Oscar, and your name was Lucia.
Yeah, which I love that name.
You do. Isn't
Yes,
that
I do.
funny?
I love that name. So
Yeah.
cute. Yes, it was
Yeah.
great.
So then it was time. I was like chomping at the bit to take you back to the memory of that night that you saw the orb light at the window. And so while you were still under hypnosis, I took you right back to that night. And what I asked is for you to just sort of float above it so you can actually see it from a higher perspective.
Yeah, yeah. And I
So
could
what
see myself in the
you could
orb
see yourself.
at the
Yes.
window. Hmm.
All right. So tell me, what did you experience there?
But the it was before it was an orb, was there were like light beams. It
Mhm.
had the shape, the arms, long, skinny, but it was light.
Yes.
So I couldn't see any like color. It was just pure light.
Light. Yeah.
And then I stand up out of bed and I walk towards the light. just became one, and boom, it was gone.
Yes. So what Karyn is explaining is her physical body stayed in
Right.
the bed, okay?
Yeah.
And that's what happens when these visits from your star family take place, is that you're not physically leaving, okay? Your physical body's still in the bed. It's that soul self that is ejecting, as you do every night anyway, right?
Incredible.
Yeah. And what what was very sweet was your how you commented, my friends are here.
That was probably what I wanted, be waiting for since 8 years old.
My
You're finally
friends.
here.
Yeah. It's like they're here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
And so
not
they
scared, nothing.
no,
It was great.
yeah. And so they beamed you up. You were
Yeah,
on a ship. And then
yeah.
what happened?
And then I saw a white room, and it didn't have edge, it was just round. And I was on a table, very cold metallic table.
Mhm.
And they were checking on me. And I remember one, I could see, now I can see them. And
Yeah,
they were like, like an egg face, big black eyes. And I can see one putting his finger in my forehead.
right here.
Yeah. And I guess they said it was for energy, right?
For energy and also really
Oh,
to repair whatever was going on with your physical body. I
yeah.
think they were helping you to repair it
I
faster.
know. I know because
Yeah.
I was, and you didn't know this, but I was injecting myself to lose weight with this famous.
Yes, that's right.
And you probably were surprised because I didn't mention that to you because I didn't know what's going to come up in the
No. Mhm.
and it seems like, yeah, I lost a lot of weight and I just neglected my my eating habits, everything. I would forget to eat, so probably I was very weak, losing a lot of weight and forgetting to eat. And that's exactly what came up, right?
Yes, they mentioned, I didn't I speak to one of them?
Yes.
I think I okay. Yeah. I can't remember last week. I think I asked permission to speak to one of them, and that's one of the things that came through. So you're just basically channeling, what needed to be said.
And you
And that
asked
was,
for the name, and the name I
oh,
can't even pronounce it today. Like it was a really different name. I have
sure,
to do the recording again,
I'd
but
have to hear it.
yeah, I have to hear it again because it was a very strange name.
Sure. Yes, yes.
It
And
was,
it would be many people when I ask that question, they can't pronounce it, or sometimes it's not linguistic. It's not something that has a language. Sometimes it's just energy, and sometimes they don't have names, right? Uh, our human selves, of course, that's what we want. Like, what do we call you? Um, and I know that you did say something and it was odd. It was,
yeah,
and sometimes they'll just come up with a name just to appease us,
I see.
right?
Yeah.
Our guides, it's like, well, let me just give them a name from one of my lifetimes,
Mhm.
right? Just call me this. Um, that's funny. Yeah, and so yes, it did come through that you were injecting yourself to lose weight, and that it was not your body was not adjusting. And you admitted later that, yeah, it's like you forget to eat, you forget to drink. It's like
Like you don't
it's
feel like eating nothing.
yeah,
And I remember setting up alarms because it will be like hours and I don't need to eat.
right, right.
So that's
Yeah.
probably was a reaction. My back, I was weak, and it just came up the exact time because August is when I finished my last injection. That was my last one,
Okay.
and I did it for 4 months or 3 months.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was very interesting. That came up.
It was very interesting. So that was really just giving you closure because you know that it's like, what was this light? And to go back and actually see what really happened. I mean, it's
Amazing.
just, yeah, mic drop right now. Really.
That was amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Um, so how have you been? I know it's the long weekend, but how has it been after your session?
So the first thing I noticed was the next day when I woke up, I felt so light
Oh,
inside.
that you mean after their visit?
Yes.
Are we
Well,
talking
no,
about that?
after our regression, our
Oh,
after
yes, yes,
session,
yes.
it was really, I felt wonderful.
Hmm.
And I dream a lot now, like every night. But you said to expect that, right?
I did.
Dream a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And you tend to just be more open and more intuitive because when you're in your session, and for those that are listening that have had sessions, you know that you're tapping into your intuition, to your feelings, and you're receiving information in so many different ways. And even when you wake up and you're standing up and you go about your day, that it's like it just kind of keeps going,
Yeah.
right? You're a little more hyper aware.
Ah,
And
complete.
when totally, and you'll get a thought and you'll go, whoa, I just heard that. You're
Yeah.
just much more open and receptive intuitively, right? So I love that part as far as, what benefits,
Yes.
take place after a session.
And one of my favorite parts was when you took me to the temple of healing. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, that's a place I take a lot of my clients that are needing that. I don't remember what your experience there was. Tell me.
Yes, it was, and you spoke with light language.
Okay, that's probably why I don't remember because then the channeling takes place and
It was
I'm,
just so beautiful, so
oh, good, good.
beautiful.
I love that. And know that, the healing temple, I learned that from Dolores Cannon and that it is available to everyone, right? You can go to bed at night asking to go there. You don't have to, go with me. You can go anytime because your soul, when you leave your body at night, you can say, I want to go there. I want to go to the healing temple. And so I go there a lot and I don't have memory of it. The beauty of the hypnosis is that you're there and you get to remember it. But know that it's a place that you can visit time and time again in your astral travels. Just
Beautiful.
ask, just ask before you fall asleep,
That's
and you
beautiful.
will go. Hmm.
Yes.
Yes. So, were you able to share this with your husband?
Yes.
What did he say?
He's like, wait, wait, wait. I need to listen to the whole regression. He believes in this, and he's very open
Yeah,
when it comes to, and very supportive. So that's wonderful.
that is real. That is important, of course. We don't always have partners that um, yeah, I have some clients that have sessions and their partners aren't aware that they're actually having a session. I know, but the important thing is that they
Yes.
take that step, right? That they are um, there. It's just a call. It's a call. It's a feeling. It's like I have to have this experience.
Mhm.
And yeah, the difficult part is who do you share it with, right? When you're unable. And some of my clients do that. I've had many Christian clientele that have come to see me and they've admitted, they're not able to, they can't share it with their family and not even their friends because they're so wrapped up into the church and they have no one to share it with. So yeah,
My
there's
husband.
I love that. I'm so glad. Wow. Well, gosh, Karyn. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful to meet you, and I'm so glad that you listened and, and that you were able to find me. You are in Florida now, correct?
Yes, I am. Yep. I love to meet
Beautiful.
you in person when I'm in Los Angeles.
I know you had mentioned that you were from here, correct?
Yeah, I lived
Yes.
for many years.
Oh, let me know. We can plan for that. I would love to meet you in person as well. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for
Mm.
everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.